Everything published was canon.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. I hope you can hear me testing. This is a brand new set here. So if you can hear me, please let me know in the chat. Hey, Logan, how are you doing? Can you hear me? I have a brand new set, so I'm just making sure that everything works. And then we have Miss Lady Toriel that came in, and she says, hello, I am looking forward to this new feature. So much fun. Thank you. All right, I see that. So thank you again for tuning in. This is a brand new show. This is called Holonet Journal, where I will report once a month, the last Wednesday of the month, where I will go over this month in history of Star Wars. And so we're in December, right? So we're going to go over what this time in history for Star Wars in December, which will be the discussion of Lucasfilm coming in as a company under George Lucas as well. So that is my intent with this. And thank you guys all for coming in. And so I'm very excited for that, for this to get going. And hopefully this will take off and be something that all of you guys are interested in to learn more about Star Wars, Lucasfilm, the history, the events that happened behind it, what productions went on during the month that I'm reporting. I'm not reporting every single thing for that month so that this can continue on as long as it can. So I'm very, very excited about that. And I am excited to be here, and I was going to do a pre-show, like pre-recorded show, but I wanted to have you guys involved. I wanted to have my chat here and listen to what I have to say, the Holonet Journal, and then also correspond with you guys on what you guys think about this news, if you guys have any inputs, and make this a very interactive Holonet Journal, almost like a Jedi holocron where you, that's kind of nerdy of me, right? Almost like a Jedi holocron where you activate it as a Jedi and then you get to see the master and interact with them. And as they teach and give you history as well. So that's my focus as well. I have my cat right here. She wants attention from me. So how this is going to go down is that I'm still going to interact with you guys. Today I will share chat like right away. I may not in the future say hello to everybody by pulling up their chat onto the screen ahead of time. But as I go along with the news, then I will start interacting. So this will be kind of different in the response on how I respond to you guys. However, I will respond and have you guys involved. And if I get super chats, then I will probably respond to them a little bit later as well, because I want this to be the news, the journal history focus first. So let's see who is all in here before we get on to this show here. I'm excited. Oh my God. It's like just something that I wanted to do different for you guys. Everybody's reporting the news in Star Wars, all of that. So we get different takes of the same type of variety of news that we see. And I want to be a bit different where I'm going to give you the news history, but it's going to be per George Lucas era of Star Wars. And hello, Miss Martin Muses. How are you doing? And then Tehillim, good to see you, OG Stars. Good to see you as well. And so again, this will be once a month, the last Wednesday of the month. So I prep, and I am happy to say that one of my producer to this is Cardass Library, and that's through Open Airlock Policy. So you might see him on the show with me from time to time if he has time. I have invited him to come on, and we'll be using some resources that he has in his Cardass Library as well as what I have. Thank you to Helium. That's great. Let's see here. And Santa Megatron. Oh my, looking good, Alora. Well, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm trying to be like a reporter type person here, at least dressed up a little bit. And if you follow me on Twitter, and you like to collect ties and you have any Star Wars or seen any, please let me know, because I would love to get Star Wars ties. And then let's see, well, both Jedi and Sith had their own holocrons. Correct. All right. And let's see here. And then so that's the gist of this new show here. I'm pretty much excited about that. And so I'm going to share the first screen here. Let me pull it up. And today we're going to discuss, or I'm going to share history of Lucasfilm with you guys. We're going to have a discussion about that. I think this is going to be great. So again, we know who the owner is or was of Lucasfilm Limited, and that was George Lucas. And he, made it a company on December 10th, 1971. And we all know what happened with that. From all the films that he produced, Star Wars was the most famous. And then the second famous was the Indiana Jones. And so we have that because of this, because he created the business in December 1971. And we are all here because of that. We are all here because of that. And I'm super excited. And then from there, let me see here, in I think it was September 1977, he made it a corporation, or Lucasfilm Limited. So it was Lucasfilm in the beginning, and then it went into Lucasfilm Film Limited. And then he also founded the Star Wars Corporation, Corporation Incorporated. And so that was intact there before Lucasfilm licensing came to be. And so that's a bit of history for you guys here. And before I move on and get into, and I got something on my nose that's bothering me. Damn it. Excuse me. And hello, how are you doing? Before I move on, what is your favorite George Lucas movie or film? And you'll be surprised when I get to this. You will. There we go. There we go. You will. Be surprised with what films that he has produced. So check DMs. All right. All right. So we'll go on here with this. So that Star Wars Incorporated was made, and the subsidiary to control the legal financial aspect of Star Wars, basically. And so that Star Wars Incorporation was the one that did that. And he was we all know he was a independent filmmaker, and and that was his main focus. He always wanted to produce. He always wanted to produce independent films, and he wanted to break away from Hollywood. And so that was amazing for him to bring this to us, right? Right. And he also hired George Weber to manage Star Wars. And then when George Weber made the idea, and he went to George asking for $5 million to sponsor other corporations, George didn't like that. He wanted to remain independent, and so he went ahead and then fired George Weber. And then from there, the Star Wars Corporation Inc. got dissolved, and then the divisions went into the different divisions of Lucasfilm as well. Let's see who's in here. Empire, Return of the Jedi, and thank you guys so much. This is the first time using something like this, and so I have to adjust. Thank you. And I'm glad that we're doing it on this show before I get this show really focused in as well. My sound keeps going up and down. I don't know why. I will figure this out. You guys just let me know. Let's see here. Yes, I'm getting that. Let me see here. What's going on here? Okay, testing. Can you hear me? Hopefully you can now. All right. And I'm glad it's happening right now, because this is the very first one. This is the introduction of the show, and just discussing Lucasfilm and how it came to be as well. And so after Weber suggested to donate and get involved with Hollywood, George was like and so he did fire him. And because of the dissolve the Star Wars Incorporation Inc. was dissolved, he did lose employees because of that. And but he did created other departments as well. and other departments of Lucasfilm was Lucasfilm Licensing, which then took over the licensing, the marketing, and everything that is responsible for what we have now with the EU. And basically, even the movies, because they were also in charge of the marketing and the funding of the movies as well. You would think that Lucasfilm was separate when it was came to do the movies, but the licensing also helped with the movie development as well. Let's see here. Rotate it so it's above your mouth. Oh, like this. There we go. Can you hear me? Okay, thank you. You guys are amazing. And then I have the super chat. And like I said, in shows coming in the future, like the one in January, I will do super chats last. So I'll save those and do super chats last. Abunas, well, look at you looking like the sexy galactic Holonet anchor woman. I got my popcorn ready and I'm kicking back to watch the show. Love what I see so far. Pause my Rogue One. You have to go there. I wish I could just for Sarah. You have to listening to Dark Forces. All right, a little higher. What, up to my nose? Right here? I don't. All right. So yeah, good. All right. Yeah. And so one of them, like I said, was Lucas Licensing, which basically was or is or was, I don't know about now, and their dynamics and what departments they dissolved. We know that once the buyout happened, they dissolved Lucas Arts as well. And so Lucas Arts is another division of Lucasfilm at the time. And that was where they were responsible for creating the movies, or not the movies, sorry, the games. And so the game production, development, all of that. And so everybody in the chat, since I mentioned Lucas Licensing and Lucas Arts, share with me your favorite EU story and game. You might act and and let me know in the chat. So another one that came to be was Lucasfilm Animation. So Lucasfilm, everybody thinks that the Clone Wars was a part of Lucasfilm, like general in the movie department, I guess you can say. No, there was an animation department. And oh god, the static. Oh no, I don't like getting static. Uh-oh. Okay, testing again. Hello, hello. Okay. All right. So testing again. Can you hear me? Is it okay? Are we doing good? Go backstage for a sec and send me the link. All right. All right. So you guys hold on, and I don't want to pause in this stuff here. I do have a brand new camera. Hello. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Hello.
it started like buzzing really loud and stuff. So
Oh, damn.
un-
Okay.
unplug it and plug it back in.
All right. Hello.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
And then kind of tilt it up so that it's only picking up your voice and not like the popping, from your breath. I do that at work all the time.
So tilt it like this way.
Yeah, up higher. Yeah, that way when you're talking, it's now try and say something.
Hello. It looks weird.
A little bit lower, a little bit lower.
Hello.
Right there.
That looks weird. Ah, okay. Something new I got for Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas to me, but this feels weird. It's like in my eyesight.
You got quiet again.
Oh boy.
Do you have your mic?
Hello, testing. I do have my regular mic. I might have to switch to that.
Yeah, because it's going
Hello?
in and out like they're saying, and sometimes it'll go like that in your ear, and yeah. But we
All right.
tried. But yeah,
We
try your
tried.
mic.
All right.
Okay, I'm
All right.
leaving now.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Here we go. Can you hear me now? Technical difficulties. First show. Wow, I really jinxed myself. I'm like, I'm glad to have this first show to get rid of all the technical difficulties. And here we are. Brand new show. I know how to do this. No, I know can hear. No, can hear. Hello? Hello, hello. There we go. All right. Let's get back to the swing of things, and good to see everybody coming in and having fun with my little shenanigans. I guess my Holonet is not in production very well, I guess you could say. And let's pull that screen back up because I kind of got rid of it. Here we go. Here we go. And so here I thought it was all cool with a brand new mic. All right, Raging Rhino, thank you so much. And thank you so much, Tim, for rescuing me on that. And everybody else, I'm sorry for the torture. I want to have a classic static sound, I guess, but not to blow your guys' ears out or whatever. You know, so again, I know some of you guys may have not heard what I said, but basically a couple of the departments of Lucasfilm licensing, or Lucasfilm in general, is Lucasfilm licensing and LucasArts. And so go ahead and share with me your favorite novel or EU story or whatever, and game, and let me know as well. So those are the two really well-known ones because they produced a lot of stories outside the movies. And that was George's intention. George wanted to give fans Star Wars any which way he could. And so there we go. So, and then we have Skywalker Sound and the animation department. And I was trying to say about animation is that animation is responsible for the Clone Wars, the movie, George's regular department. And I don't even know if you would say the department, but the Clone Wars was never a part of the movie development area. And but it was part of Lucasfilm Animation, which was a part of the EU. And so I think we need a better understanding with that and how these departments were created, and how they, even though they were separate, everything was tied together, right? Tied together with within the lore, the continuity as well. And then Skywalker Sound, who is responsible for, the sound productions and all of that. And I believe it's Attack of the Clones, where they have the chase on Coruscant. And they basically, one of the screens in the city has Skywalker Sound as an advertisement on there. And so that's a nod to that department. And I thought that was very clever, very, very clever. So something you may have not known. And then Industrial Light and Magic is another department as well. And some of these did carry on to the new owners, and some of these were dissolved as well. And I didn't look into it, but I think Lucasfilm Licensing may still be a part of the new company, but I'm not going to go into that right now. And so Industrial Light Magic is responsible for a lot of the, graphic and a lot of the CGI and all of that, the production, the models, all of that George and his company used to create Star Wars and other films as well. And the Jedi Rifster, thank you for Australian 5. Here's some extra financial love while I can still afford it. Thank you for being the Star Wars voice of reasons this bland war mess. Thank you so much for coming in. And Soul Assassin Allure is the one telemarketer that Abu won't hang up on. Oh, goodness. And this is another reason why I want to just, go straight into the history, the news of Star Wars, all of that before I read everybody's chat so I can stay on task. Stay on task. And so let's get into the production, the movies that Lucas Licensing created. Indiana Jones, Star Wars, Twice Upon a Time. Have you guys heard of that one? Mishma, A Life in 4 Chapters, Labyrinth, Howard the Duck, Willow, The Land Before Time, and Radioland Murders. So those are the films that, Lucasfilm was responsible. And, of course, like Indiana Jones and Star Wars, there's multiple episodes or films from that as well. And so, again, out of these, which one surprised you guys on hearing about, or did you not know about? There's a few of here that maybe you guys haven't known about. So share that in the chat, and I'll read this off one more time for you. Of course, Star Wars and Indiana Jones, that's a no-brainer. Twice Upon a Time, Mishma, The Life of 4 Chapters, Labyrinth, Howard the Duck, Willow, The Land Before Time, and Radioland Murders. So does any of this surprise you? Have you heard of some of these? Let me know in the chat. And in 2005, Lucasfilm opened a new studio in Singapore as well. And so after that, they expanded, opened up in Singapore, and that was during the time as well when the Clone Wars were like Tartakovsky Clone Wars were in production or ending production, and we were going into the production of the Clone Wars movie. Let's see here. Yes, I have read almost every George book. There we go. Yes. All right. And on January 2002, George Lucas announced he was getting ready to retire. And I think that's a year that caught us in all surprise, is finding out that he was going to retire. And during that time, he basically promoted Kathleen Kennedy in June 2012 as his co-chair of Lucasfilm when she worked directly beside him. And from that, we know what happens with that. In about December 4th, 2012, the Disney Lucasfilm merge was approved. And by the 21st of 2020 or 2012, Disney completed the acquisition and Lucasfilm became part of the Disney Corporation. And so we have that. And on top of that, because Kennedy was promoted, she became the president of Lucasfilm as we know now. And so not trying to dampen this little bit of this news here, history, Boo Kennedy, not to dampen anybody's spirit about this, the coming of Lucasfilm and all the glorious, beloved films, novels, all of that they have created for us that we are talking about today on my channel and other various channels. Not to dampen that, but that's just a little bit of history here in Lucasfilm. And we have, thank you so much, Mary Mayhem, Mary Mob, Raid. Thank you so much. So that's a little bit of history on that as well. And we know that Pixar was a development and brainchild of George Lucas as well. And he sold that as well. I didn't get the time frame on that, but that's just one of the things, one of the brainchilds that came from George Lucas. He was a visionary. He had a visionary mind. He had an expansion. His mind was expansive. He had these ideas. He got into mythos. He looked at today's world during his time and used the events as themes and allegories to create Star Wars and other stuff as well, to make everything timeless. And I think that's a difference between then and now when we see Star Wars is everything was timeless. Everything was that you can go and relate to, and it's not necessarily an insert of our time frame. It's something that our future generations can look at and say, wow, I can relate to that, even though that's not a specific thing. And thank you again, Mary, for the raid as well. So that's the brilliance of Lucasfilm in general, and under George Lucas as well. And so before we end here, let me see if I can flip it to this one here. Nope, it's not going to work. I will go ahead and share a book that came out during this time as well. And then I'll look at the chat and we'll have a little discussion about what you think about Lucasfilm, favorite movies, all of that. And so let me switch screens here. Wrong one. Okay. There we go. And so the book that I'm going to share is a story that happens 0 ABY in the timeline. There we go. And this is Star Wars. Star Wars Rebel Force, and this is Hostage. Now, this is a little short, like a scholastic story, and I thought I'd share something different that we normally don't talk about. And this came out December in 2008. The author, Alex Wheeler, and the cover artist, Randy Martinez. And there's a 3-book series, I believe. And so there's a few books that followed, 3 or 4 books that followed. Yes, I agree. Hidden gems. So there's other books that follow in the series here. And it's a scholastic, but I always recommend myself to you. I recommend if you can find these Star Wars scholastic novels, pick them up. They're great reads. They truly are. And this one right here is basically, this happened 0 ABY. Let me take a sip. 0 ABY. And this is after the destruction of Alderaan. And Leia goes to visit a sister planet of Alderaan. And she finds out that and it's called Delayan, and I probably pronounced that wrong. And she's finding out that the population, the people there, are upset with her. They're blaming her and her father for being rebel sympathizers for the destruction of Alderaan. And there's, the Alderaanians would go visit their sister planet. And so we had some survivors of that ordeal of the destruction of Alderaan over there, and they're overpopulated now. The living conditions wasn't very good. Leia's getting blamed, and so she is taken hostage. And I think his name is Hel Dre, is the one that is the ruler, I guess you could say, of that sister planet, and he wants to turn her over to the Empire. And from there, of course, she's being kept as hostage, so Han and Luke and them have to go and rescue her. So it's a nice little gem of a book, and there's other parts to this. Another one is called Renegade, and then Firefight, I believe. And so I recommend these. Again, you could probably search them online, find them for a very inexpensive price. Start collecting these books to add to your library as well. These are not reprinted, so you won't find them at Legends label. So it might be kind of costly if you do find them. I will share on Twitter, and here on my community page if I do find a link that has these books, so you guys can add them to your library. So there we go. And so with Lucasfilm, and again, this is part of Lucasfilm licensing, because they're responsible for licensing towards the authors to write these books. And as we know, these books were also, like the authors to these books were, the licensing department were responsible in the continuity and responsible for keeping the stories coherent as much as they can to the movies as well. So there we go. And so I do have a few people popping in here, and let's see here. Ronan Blade. The Disney acquisition would have been good if the right people were involved. Unfortunately, it was a disaster. Correct. And let's see here. Wow, never saw this before. Interesting. Yes, this is the whole purpose of Holonet Journal, is giving you information, history, lore, news that happened during the time of George Lucas era, and sharing these gems with you guys, and hoping that since this is in front of you, that you will want to find these and add them to your library, read them, and get more involved with the classic original canon Star Wars. Let's see here. Do you have any of the Ryder Wyndham Star Wars adventure books? I do have some Ryder Wyndham, so I don't have a lot of them, but when I do see them, I pick them up. And that's the thing, is finding them, picking them up, and adding them to your collection. And then those are hard to find. Yes, they are. They are. I was fortunate enough to find some at an antique store. This antique store has like a library as well, and other little bookstores like mom and pop bookstores. So go off and adventure and visit those little shops, visit those antique stores. You never know, they might have a library there inside their antique shop, and you never know what you can find in there. I recently found, like a few months ago, the whole X-Wing series with no legend label whatsoever. So I purchased that, and so the ones I have with the legends label, I don't have. I'm like, I gave them away. I'd rather have the non-legends, and so I'm slowly collecting non-legend label items. Does Scholastic still have the right to Star Wars books? That's one thing I did not look into. Do you have a shelf with all your Star Wars books? Yeah, I have a shelf. I have to organize it. I've been doing a lot of things, researching some Boba Fett stuff, getting information for the Holocron Journal show here today. Let's see here. Be sure to make friends and connection that can give you access to the books. Yes. Yes. And so this is just book one of this little series here, and it's a fun read. And it's been a while. I did read a couple of these. It's been a while since I've read them, and I don't have them on my shelf anymore. I've lost some items. I've lost books over the years, and I'm a bit sad about that, but I'm collecting them again, if that makes sense. And that's what I recommend for you guys as well. All right. And so I wanted to keep this one short and simple and sweet today. Next month, we will have Holonet Journal at the end of January, the last Wednesday of the month. And there I'll have a few topics to discuss, a few topics to share on the history, development, events of Star Wars, and that we can go over. And hopefully it'll be stuff that you haven't heard yet, or maybe we haven't discussed on my other live streams as well. And so I'm pretty much excited about that. Let's see here. And what are you guys? Try pawn shops by military bases. They have lots of books. Yeah, exactly. And even to share on Holonet Journal, I will have links for you guys in the future as well, for when I discuss any book that comes up during that month that I want to discuss and share with you guys. I will have links for you guys to go check out a way to, to purchase the books as well. We all have, so don't feel bad. Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah. And thank you guys again for the technical difficulty help and such. And I also, since I'm having a discussion on this first show, like in-depth discussion with you on Holonet Journal, what would you guys really, really like to see or talk about topic? It's going to be month by month. So like January, I will look back in time with Lucasfilm and for January and post about that or talk about that. So what would you guys like to hear? Like, what are you guys interested in? We always talk about, books all the time. Talking about events in history is another thing that is a great thing to add. And that's what Holonet Journal is about. So let me know, because I want to keep this in front of you guys. I want to keep the love of Star Wars Disney, George Lucas era in front of you. And so it's important to me, OG Star Wars of this channel, to know exactly what you like. Thank you for putting the gem of a show together, OG. Can't wait to see the next episode. Yes. And they will vary. The time frames will vary on these episodes, or on these, and maybe I should count them as episode. This is episode 1, right? Holonet Journal, episode 1. Technical difficulties and all. And I'm just going to leave it as it is. I'm not going to go back and edit it behind the scenes. I'm just going to leave that in there probably. It's fine. It happens. I thought that I was set and I was a go with the headphones and mic and stuff. And so I'll figure that one out later. And then Logan, the process of them making novels happen. Yeah, that too. And I want to share that because there's so much to talk about that with the process, because then you learn who got involved with making the novels or the comics or the games. And you will also find how much George was involved. And that does debunk a lot of this anti-EU George wasn't involved rhetoric. And that's another thing as well. And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and share with you a little bit of this information that I have in front of me about this scholastic book. At one point in the story, Han recalls Obi-Wan's quote regarding Alderaan's destruction, though he was not present to hear it in Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. So there we have a little bit of contradiction there, a little bit that, and we do have that. And myself and other people have also said that the EU wasn't seamlessly perfect. There are stuff that had to be, taken care of because of a little bit of eras here and there. And the story marks the reappearance of Ferris Olin, and this goes back to another book featuring hero of the Last of the Jedi series. And the Last of the Jedi series is a series that does have Obi-Wan in it, and this happens like 2 years after Return or Revenge of the Sith. And so this is that Last of the Jedi was 2 years after that, and when he went into exile. And the reason why he's in the book is that he needed to make sure, and that he leaves Tatooine and all that, is he needs to make sure that they covered their tracks when Padme gave birth to the twins, because Vader was suspecting something. And so he needed to leave Tatooine to cover his tracks and go to Polis Massa to make sure that everything that they did was erased and not kept, and so that nothing would be discovered. And I think that's a great way to do a mission for Obi-Wan going off of Tatooine. It was so close to Revenge of the Sith. He had to make sure all tracks and signs of the birth and everything was covered and erased. And so he did. He took care of that mission. And, there were still some Jedis alive. Some of them just went ahead and gave up the Jedi way. And so he, like that Ferris Olin is one of them. He still got help from him. It's a great story. And I recommend the Last of the Jedi series to you guys as well. And it's a great story. And it makes sense to Obi-Wan's exile. He never fights or sees Vader because he's not supposed to, because it'll compromise his exile and his mission, right? Because if he's known to be alive, then Vader's not going to stop wanting to find him. And leaving was so close to Revenge of the Sith that he that it made sense, because he did what he needed to do, and then he returned and stayed to the mission, stayed to the plan. So there we go. Let me see. Star wasn't even a thought when I was born, unfortunately. Let's see here. And then Shane Olin, happy holidays. Yes. And so that's another one there. So we have that Ferris Olin right there. And I'm also going to bring up characters that were developed during that time. So January, again, George, the Cardus Library under open airlock policy. You know, he's will help me produce these shows here by helping me with, you know, some of the information I need with what he has in his own library as well. So I give him credit for that and credit for the show as well for collaborating with me. And I think that will make a great team with this. And I'm excited about that as well. And so, you know, even sharing character development, even, you know, other things like even a set development or whatever, you know, will be shared as well. So I'm super excited about that. And I know we're coming up on the New Year's now. And so I look forward to hearing from you guys about how your New Year's are, or is, or will be on Twitter. So, you know, please tag me in Happy New Year and stuff and let me know how everything's going. And as always, I'm not really going to discuss anything that's Disney Star Wars on this stream. So even if it's someone's talking about it in the chat, I'm not going to bring it up. We're going to specifically stay and adhere to George Lucas era of Star Wars. And, you know, we can rant and rave about what we don't like going on right now, but that could be on another channel and a different time. And so that's what this is about, purely George Lucas era Star Wars news, history, events, all of that here. So thank you guys again for dropping in. Thank you for putting up with the technical difficulties. I thought it was all cool. And thank you guys as well for subscribing to the channel, becoming members, and your continued support. New Year's plan, gonna go to level 1313 and get hammered. Yes. Yes, I love that. Level 1313. And again, this is the last, no. Tomorrow morning is the last time you channel members can get in for a chance to win a copy of my painting, Son of Kifu. So I'm going to share that with you right now.
Announcement for my channel, OG Star Wars. Channel members have a chance to win a copy of Son of Kifu starting now in November through January just by coming on and supporting live streams. Your name will be entered to win a copy of this wonderful painting. So I encourage you, channel members, to come and support, as this is a way of giving back to you. If you are not a channel member, then what are you waiting for? Our last channel member, Miss Martin Muses, is the one who won Mistress of Rat Attack. Congratulations. And I shall chat with you guys later. See you in the live streams. Have a good day.
And there you go. So tomorrow morning for coffee chat, it'll go on 9 a.m. as always. And we are going to do a watch party. I'm excited about that. We are going to watch the production by Darth Angelus, his part 1 to Heir to the Empire. I know I have had us watched, I think, about 5 episodes that he did. So we are going to have a watch party of all of them that he's done so far, put into part 1. And then we'll also discuss like any of the new comic production, the collections that are coming up in the future. So if you guys are looking for ways to collect the comics of Star Wars and you don't have yet, we could provide that for you as well. So watch party for coffee chat tomorrow. Then we will continue in the new year on Dina Shawn's story in the comics that we've been reviewing and talking about. So those who have came into the chat that are channel members, your name will go in for a chance to win that copy of that painting. And then tomorrow morning, if you visit and come into coffee chat for the watch party, your name will be entered as well. And I will announce on Twitter and my channel here in the community forum what day I will do the drawing. So stay tuned for that. I have not planned that yet at all. I wanted to get past having the first broadcast of Holonet Journal to you guys. And so copy chat tomorrow, 9 a.m. See you guys then. And thank you guys for tuning in to Holonet Journal. It's been great reporting to you, technical difficulties and all. Thank you for Tim and Raging Rhino for the help as well. And thank you guys all for being members and subscribers. May the force be with you.
All king. Everything published was king.